Kind of wish I'd have made this video a couple days ago, but I just kept forgetting. So you'll see my brand spanking new generator. It's got 12 hours on it. No, I'm kidding. It's got 1,012 hours on it now. So I bought this October 24th. Today is March, I think 28th or 29th, somewhere around there. And so put 1,000 hours over the winter. Now, granted, winter time, I run it much more than I do in the summertime. As a matter of fact, now the days are getting longer. I'm running a lot less. I run an hour in the evening just to make sure I got enough battery to get through the nighttime. Also, the batteries are getting old, so that's a huge issue also. I may have to start thinking about replacing them. Some days, when it's colder outside, let's put it that way, the batteries are struggling to get through the night. So there's some nights where I'll run it until 11 p.m. Now, I don't stay up then. I got it all timed out and what I do and how much gas I put in it, so it'll just run out of gas at 11 p.m. So that gets me through the night. But on warmer days, it actually does pretty good. So it's just the cold weather is really zapping the batteries. And like I said, I mean, what are they? They're coming up on like 7 years old. I mean, they're getting pretty old. And I know lithium-ion batteries, they last for 10 years. That's not been proven yet. You know, thing is you buy one of those riding lawnmowers, and they're only lasting 7 years. So they got lithium-ion batteries and all that stuff. You know, and it's all supposed to be very great stuff, but all I hear is, yeah, buy this lithium-ion battery from my affiliate link below. You're gonna love it. And then everybody thinks, oh man, he's a great YouTuber. But my lead acid does pretty good. And the thing is in reality, all I really need to do is just maybe buy one a year. And I know you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to change them out all at once and all that stuff, but I don't. I change them out, you know, sporadically. And that really kind of just limps it along pretty good. So, like I said, this got 1,000 hours on it. We're going to slow down. But that really gave me a pretty good foundation. I wanted to, you know, see if I can get 5,000 hours out of this. And at that rate, you know, I'm looking at around maybe 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. It'd be great if I could get 6,000 hours out of it. Then I could definitely get 5 years out of it. So the last one was the Power Smart, and it lasted, I think, 3 years. And it probably had close to 3,000 hours on it. But I fundamentally ran that one different. It started smoking or using oil right away. This one's not using oil yet, but I'm changing the oil on this every 25 hours. I'm using 5W30. And when the temperature is below 60 degrees, I run it with the eco off. That means it's running full RPMs. That way it's burning all that gas. It's heating up the oil. It's burning all the water out of the oil. I've got a magnet dipstick in it now. So that keeps the little metal powder. That's all it is. It's just like powder from lapping all the bearings and all that stuff. And it seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, I didn't expect the magnet dipstick to keep pulling metal out of it every time. I figured it'd do it for a while during like a break-in period, but it's still doing it. So I guess everything just kind of wears over time. I guess it just depends on how much it's going to wear. I don't know how much that little powder actually, you know, how much wear that is. What's interesting is I have noticed that the wearing is a little bit more extreme when you're running it with eco on. That means it's running at a lower RPM. I don't know, maybe the oil isn't splashing up as good or something. I figured it would be worse because on higher RPM means you're running in the same 25 hours, you're running more rotations than you're on lower RPM. But it's the exact opposite of what I would have thought. But anyway, I think one of the two key things that I'm doing to this that makes it seem like it's going to do better is I'm running it with that eco off. So higher RPMs in the colder temperatures. That means the oil is getting up to saturation temperature, boiling temperature. And you wanted to get up boiling temperature for two reasons. One, you wanted to burn the gas. I noticed the other day, I was running it at Eco on, that means low RPMs. It was 50 some odd degrees outside. And I could smell the fuel, you know, it wasn't burning the fuel very well. You can smell it. And when I changed the oil, I could smell the fuel in the oil. It just wasn't burning the gas. It wasn't getting hot enough to burn. So that I learned, it's, you know, I got to wait until 60 degrees to turn that back on to low. You're using more gas. It's just part of it. But in the end, it's saving the engine. So, and it's a good point. You know, how much gas, extra gas, are you really spending? The thing is when I run the battery charger at 25 amps. Now, at 25 amps, the batteries are fully, you know, needing charged. And as the batteries get charged, the amps drop. That means I'm using less power. So when the Eco on, that means the RPMs start up high and drop down a little bit. But then when it gets down to 10 amps in the wintertime, like I want to run it till 11 o'clock, I drop the battery charger down to 10 amps. And that means there's basically no draw on this. So it's just running at the slowest speed possible. So the oil cools off. So I think running at the higher RPMs, and I'm like I'm saying, you know, maybe I'm spending 50 cents more per 25 hours on gas. In reality, I don't think that's that big of a deal, considering if I can get this to last forever. You know, people keep telling me I need to buy a Honda. I would buy a Champion if I'm going to buy anything. I wouldn't buy a Honda. But okay, let's say I buy a Honda. You still have to do maintenance on Hondas, and I think that's where people seem to not really wrap their brain around. You know, they listen to these YouTubers, oh, go buy a Honda, it's the best thing out there. And so they go buy a Honda, it sits in the basement with ethanol gas in it. Carburetor's gone in a year. They don't change the oil but every 100 hours. They run it in 50-degree temperature. And so you're going to have the same problems you're going to have with this. It's the same exact problems. This is a Honda clone. It's built just like a Honda, except it's, 500 watts less. And as long as they're making them, I'm going to buy these, I think. I think I'm really impressed with them, really happy with it, and it's cheap at $250. I mean, I could do the math with a calculator, but you can figure that out. Right now I'm at 1,000 hours. How many dollars is that per hour? Maybe, what, $250? I don't know. So if I can get it to 5,000 hours, I mean, it's like pennies on the hour is what it's doing. But if you spend $1,200 on a Honda generator and it lasts $1,000, that means you're what? Am I thinking about this right? Anyway, you do the math. You'll understand that $1,000 at $250 versus $1,000 at $1,250. I think that's, what is that, $12 an hour? I don't know. No, maybe it's $1.20. Maybe I'm thinking this is 25 cents an hour. My decimal point in my head is not moving around right. But regardless, it's much cheaper. So if I get this to 5,000 hours, even with the extra oil changes, and the thing is it's not extra oil changes. It's oil changes you should be doing. Yeah, it says change oil every 100 hours. Under normal conditions. So what is a normal condition? 75 degrees. You're running it 3 or 4 hours at a time. But I'm not doing that with this. I'm running it at 0 degrees. I'm running it all night. So it's under extreme conditions. So changing that oil. Now the oil looks clean when I pull it out. And I'm fine with that. I'd rather it look clean. Okay, I've never done this before. But I got a call. It's Sunday. And it seems like, you know, that's the only time people even think about calling you about getting their lawnmower repaired is Sunday, the day I have off, and it's well advertised. It's not like I don't hide, you know, I hide the fact, but someone called while I'm making a video on my day off. So he says, do you do service calls? And I said, no, I don't. I'll pick it up. Oh, okay, how much you charge? So I tell him how much I charge. Oh, I guess I can bring it over. Oh, okay, that's great. And he says, I don't even know what to tell you what's wrong with it. And I said, well, what do you got? I got a John Deere zero turn. Okay. And he says, do you even have a place to work on it? Now, I know I'm missing something because he really wanted me to go work at his place. Now, I have a lift here. I have an ultrasonic cleaner here. I have all my tools here. I have the beast in case I need to move it around. And I have a spot that I don't mind spilling oil on, as you can tell right here. So, it's a nice setup. And, I got the tarp. And the thing is I don't have a shop, but I also don't have overhead. I don't have taxes on a, 5,000 square foot building. I don't have electric that I got to pay. I don't have, all the fancy compressors and all that stuff. And most of the people, this is the second time that I would say this tarp has gotten me where I couldn't get a job out of all the jobs I've taken. The thing is, what's so surprising to me is the people from Kansas City who have 2 homes, they're rich. I mean, they're just rich. They find me and they're just excited that they found somebody here in the area that is cheap. And several of them bring me work from Kansas City in the middle of winter. They make a special trip down here with their mowers on the trailer, and they'll sit here for a month because they can't make it back down right away, which is fine. Because you know what? I don't have to argue with them. They drop it off. I call them and say, hey, it's fixed. They come and pick it up and give me my money. There's no arguing. Even if there's a problem, they're like, okay, 9 times out of 10, I don't even have to call them and say, hey, there's another problem. I can just fix it. And they don't say a word. Or if I do say, hey, there's something else, whatever it needs, just fix it, man. I just want to and the reason they are so willing to deal with me like this is when they come down here, they want to spend their weekend at their lake house. They want to go fishing or boating or whatever it is that they do. They don't want to deal with the lawnmower. They want me to deal with it. And that's fine. And I really like those guys. But the people who live here, they think they've got something. And I don't charge hardly anything. That's what's so frustrating. Anyway, you got a place you can actually work on it. And what went through my head when he said it was, wait a minute. Your dirt that you want me to work on is better than my dirt that I want to work on. Like I said, if I went over there, first of all, he doesn't know what's wrong with it. So let's just assume it's a carburetor issue. Bad gas, carburetor's dirty. I got the ultrasonic cleaner in there, which, you got to transport all the chemicals and all that. You got to hook it up to his electric. No, he's going to want me to sit there in his driveway with a can of carb cleaner and poking holes with the torch tip cleaners, hoping and praying that I can get it clean. I don't even understand this. Why people think that you should just be able to just drop everything you do, go run over to their place, then come back over here, drop the carburetor off into your ultrasonic cleaner, and go back over there. I mean, even the mobile mechanics that I look at on Facebook, 9 times out of 10, they say, yeah, I went over to the guy's place to work on his mower, but it had a major issue, so I had to bring the mower over back to my place, to the shop. So they don't even do mobile mechanic stuff there. And the thing is you would have to have a truck as big as a house to transport all the possible parts that you're going to need and the tools so you can actually work there. And if you spill oil in his driveway, he's going to want a professional pressure washing and cleaning that he's going to want me to pay for. So I just don't even understand these people. The condescending behavior. Last time I was there, I said, you know what, sir? Looks like we're not going to be able to do business together. I'm sorry. And I just hung up. And, I've gotten to the point where I'm thinking, sometimes my peace of mind is a lot better than trying to hang on to a customer that does. He would have been a pain forever. I cleaned the carburetor, and the next week the tire's flat. You didn't fix that tire when you were here. You're going to have to come back and fix that. And I'm not paying for it. And the thing is he didn't want to spend the money to have it transported over here. So he's on a budget. probably with a $10,000 or $15,000 zero-turn John Deere mower that he doesn't want to let off his property because he's afraid I'm going to steal it. The thing is this was from a reference. I got a lady who has been to my shop or done business with me for 3 years in a row now. She's been here every year. But last year I did work with her for twice. Now, I will admit, with her last year, she had a push mower. And I went over there to pick up the push mower. And she says, I hit something. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start it real quick. So right in front of her, I started it, and it was smoking. I knew exactly what it was. When she hit something, she lifted it up, probably on its side or something, and all that oil ran into the cylinder. So I just let it burn off. I didn't even work on it. I didn't do anything. And she gave me some money for it. I didn't even tell her a price. She just gave me some money. She said, will this do? Yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to charge her. She was a nice lady. And we like going out to the lake. The area she lives in is really nice. And so we can sit at the lake for a minute, watch the water. And then a couple of weeks later, she called back and said, I did something to that push mower again. Can you come out and get it? So I went out there, and this little flapper in the back, that's all it was. Got stuck underneath the mower. So I just yanked it out. Again, she gave me some money. I mean, so I no tools, nothing. And so he uses that as, well, you worked on hers. Well, yeah, I worked on hers, but I didn't do anything to it. I looked at it. That's it. So I don't know. They just aggravate him. Call on a Sunday and then give you condescending behavior. Well, if you weren't, you shouldn't have called. You shouldn't have called. If you think that I'm going to sit there and work in your precious driveway by the lake at your $200,000, $300,000 home, and I spill a little bit of oil so you can scream at me for an hour, it's just not worth it to me. So if you'll click this up next box, take your video over to my other channel. I really appreciate it. Go check it out. And it's going to be a brand new video day, so that'd be helpful. So I hope I can inspire you to get some peace of mind so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.